Welcome back to the week 6. I'm gonna cut all this out. I got nervous. Welcome back to the week 6 episode of the TCL podcast. It's me, the commish, and I'm here with the 2019. I had to look this up in the record books. I had to dust off the record books. 2019 TCL champion. It is Joe Buck Wise. Joey, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mario. Thanks for having me on.
This is your first episode. How does it feel to be on the show for the first time? Is it everything it's
Yeah,
dreamed up to
yeah.
be?
Long time listener, first time on. Looking forward to it. Great season so far. Much improved from last season. So looking forward to being able to provide my insight and making this the best episode of the year.
I was telling people that they should be excited about this episode because it's going to be pure electricity.
It
Um,
is. It is. I'm fully prepared to get roasted. In the roast of Joe's coming, but that's what I signed up for.
yeah, I know. I'm sure you saw that episode before the Cowboys Niners game where I was like, "This is," and I was playing you also. So I like geared myself up. I was like ready to go. I was like, we're gonna let Joe have it this week, and then I was the one who got had.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was,
I don't talk trash before. I let my talking happen on the field, but after I really let you hear it.
oh yeah,
So
oh yeah, he definitely did. And I think I sent you some funny, nasty messages. Like, what did I say? Like, I hope your flight gets delayed, but you still make it home safe.
yeah, I hope you have a noisy Uber. Which it was a very noisy Uber. I was actually at a wedding watching the game on my phone, and there's a party bus on the way back. Music was bumping. It was very loud, but I may have been the loudest one
By
serving.
by that point in the
After.
game, it was probably not that important to hear the audio.
It was about 32-10 when I hit the dance floor.
They were talking about Brock Purdy's family's hot tub business. You hear about that?
Oh yeah, you shut it down every Sunday to go watch the game. Like they said in the broadcast, don't really know who's buying a hot tub in Arizona, but they each their
I,
own.
I thought that was hilarious too. It's like Collinsworth over there, like, yeah, I don't know who's buying a hot tub in Arizona, and then like Tarico's like, dude, like, shut the fuck up. Like, we're trying to help him sell hot tubs. Like, what are you doing? And he's
Yeah,
just still like, I don't know. Look at this guy. He's
the
just
back acts up. You sometimes you have to go take a little warm dip to get it loosened up.
I think there's still a place for hot tubs in Arizona. By the way, Brock Purdy's family shop, if you want to sponsor the TCL podcast, we're open for business, so DM me. Uh,
Officially a Brock Purdy podcast too. We love Brock Purdy.
yeah, we're officially pro Brock Purdy on this podcast, especially since he's on my team, and I'm now counting on him to carry me into the TCL final. So uh, I know we got a couple of fun topics to discuss today, so go over picks with friends. See, I did. You said you didn't want to go over the picks, but the pick you did pretty good.
Yeah, yes and no. I think there's some left some meat on the bone there.
Sure,
Didn't
sure.
end up didn't end up as quite as well as I thought, but it's every time you make a pick, you think you're going to win. Unfortunately, it just fell a little bit short.
Every there's always one NFL week like this, and I feel like it coincides with when I can't watch all the games. Like they need me to be watching to do well. So
Exactly.
a lot of good teams that didn't do so hot this past week. Let's
No, weird week for football for sure.
All right. So first game I had was Falcons and Commanders. We have another similar situation in our league with the team changing names, but uh, yeah. What do you think of this? I know your boy Bijan is slowing down after his hot start.
Yeah, Falcons just are not a good team, and their record's better than what their team is. Desmond Ritter is just trash. He might be one of the worst quarterbacks in the world. He still produces fantasy points. He did have, I think, 3 touchdowns, but also 3 picks. So you take away those turnovers, I think the Falcons end up pulling this off. But until they have a quarterback that is a threat, I think you're going to see a stacked box against Bijan. It's going to make him a little bit tough to run.
Yeah, It's funny because I think Jory called this out last week. Was like, I don't know about Bijan going forward. I think he's going to face a lot of stacked boxes. And in my head, I hadn't even really kind of put that together. I'm like, wait, I guess that's kind of true, right? Because I just assumed, well, he's already doing it like right off the bat. He's that good. Like he makes these kind of like crazy plays. But yeah, Desmond Ritter's definitely not the future there. But they're for whatever reason sticking with him. When
Yeah,
they,
and it's funny. I mean, Bijan has 2 touchdowns on the year and 2 receiving. No rushing touchdowns yet, which is kind of ironic. Ripping on Desmond Ritter, but he can only throw the ball, I think, 3 yards down the field without getting picked off.
yeah,
So
yeah, seriously. I mean, he Bijan still managed. I mean, without scoring touchdowns, still had 13 points, so it's not bad considering how much he's getting the attention of the defense. So
yeah,
we both picked the Falcons in that one, and we both got it wrong. Later in hindsight, after because when I send you those picks, I try to make them very quickly after or like right as you're sending them, so that there's no like
yeah,
collusion or anything. And after I sent it on Sunday, I was talking to somebody else, and they sent me their picks, and just for betting purposes, fully above board, by the way, fully legal betting. Uh, and they picked Commanders, and I'm like, what kind of idiot would pick the Falcons? And then I looked at our thing, and I was like, oh, whoops.
we're those idiots.
Yeah, yeah, should have known that one. So I don't know. Not much else to say. Sam Howell continues to be a fantasy machine.
Yeah, just Mr. Consistency.
Yeah, seriously. Also, Curtis Samuel has picked it up too. So shout out to Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, good for Curtis Samuel.
I heard he was going to
Before
get
the year,
traded, but now he's like doing pretty good.
yeah, before the year, Jahan Dotson was the hot commander receiver to go after and get, other than Scary Terry. And
Yeah,
Dotson, I probably believe he's droppable in most leagues right now.
yeah, he probably is, and somebody will pick them up and be like, maybe it'll be different, and then it won't because they're the Commanders. So, next one. Well, let's just go ahead and knock it out of the way. San Francisco at Cleveland. You went with the
Yeah,
Niners, which of course you should. What else?
can't pick against my team.
Can't pick against your own
Die,
team, but
yeah, diehard Niners fan for me would be an understatement. I haven't missed a game since 2011. I've watched every single one. Um, rough game for the Niners. Not gonna make any excuses. The Browns have a really good defense. They play a lot of press man. Kyle Shanahan's offense is finding the soft spots in the zone. Can't find soft spots in the zone when they're playing man. Can't run
yeah,
the ball. Sweatshirt says 21 personnel. You got to run the ball if you're going to win. Um, couldn't run the ball in the Browns. Had a chance to win. Was 2 yards closer. Probably ended up with a W and looking at 6-0. But just didn't happen.
you know
It is what it
I.
is. Yeah, first loss since trading for CMC in the regular season. It's been almost a year since the regular season loss. It happens.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's nothing to be too upset about if you're a Niners fan, just because it had all the makings of that kind of game. I even when
Exactly.
I picked the Browns, but I kind of did it as a meme more than
Yeah.
anything. But when I was watching that game, it was just it reminded me of that song that Grant would play us, the like fun times in Cleveland.
Oh
It was
yeah.
like here's a river that used to like it's on fire, and it's just like it's just all like gross and just rainy and just mucky and just it's just
Yeah.
Cleveland.
It
I'm
it
like,
had upset from the start. I mean, Jim Schwartz versus Kyle Shanahan. If you don't know about that record, Jim just owns Kyle. It, you know,
oh, I'm
Backup
sure he
quarterback. He thinks a big cakewalk. It. PJ Walker, shout out to PJ Walker, came through even though he did throw 2 picks, but
XFL legend PJ Walker.
Eddie,
Is it
MVP of
XFL or USFL or I don't keep up with any of those.
XFL. I think he was MVP in the COVID shortened season.
Shout out COVID.
Yeah,
Just kidding. No, yeah, there's not much to say. You're right. McCaffrey and Debo Samuel got hurt, which probably hurt you too in terms of. I guess you had Ayuk, so I'm thinking of
yeah.
the.
And Ayuk still didn't have that good of a game. I've got Debo in another league.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk about that league apparently, according to inside sources. So I'm trying
Okay,
not to
yeah.
talk about the other league. Sorry. whoever you know who you are. Sorry. Uh, yeah, that one helped me out for sure with Debo going out because that definitely helped Grant score. I think he was projected at like 190 at one point, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh great, perfect. That's exactly what we need, and yeah, that helped. And he had McCaffrey too, so I think they're both going to be okay though, right? Like for the most part.
Yeah, everyone avoided major injury. I mean, I think the big one also was Trent Williams too. You saw
Yeah,
Trent just get demolished by Miles Garrett, thrown around like a rag doll. But we'll see if they play Monday. They play Monday night against the Vikings and then against the Bengals, and they have a bye. So it wouldn't surprise me to see CMC sit out for 2 weeks and heal up for the long run. But he's also a psychopath who wants to play every single down. So we'll see.
yeah, for sure. And I've been um, checking on. Sorry, one second, because I may have. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah, I think the Niners will be fine. They got lucky in that they have an extra long period for the next game, and also, like you said, they missed mostly major stuff. So good for them, I guess. Anything else on this game?
No, I mean, the recipe's out to be the Niners. We'll see if other teams can capitalize on it. But Brock Purdy's first probably bad game he's ever had in his life. So
Yeah, well, you got to go back to his Iowa State days to find his last bad game, probably.
yeah, yeah,
Maybe
or high school.
that like 20 was it 2020 or 2021 Big 12 championship game?
Sure.
Whenever they played against Oklahoma, and they probably should have won, but anyway, um, no, I'll give him his due. He's doing pretty good. So next one was Jags Colts, and this is one where we split also. So we basically evened out here because I picked the Colts and you picked the Jags. So Jags won 37-20. Um, Jonathan Taylor did something. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. It's
I
gonna
know
be
you got inside sources there. I don't know if you need to
yeah.
disclose
I
them,
got. I
but
know some people inside the organization of the Colts. Don't really ask for too much information, but kind of what I was texting you about was it's gonna be a slow ramp for JT. Zach Moss was a stud. No one saw that coming. I was in the bank or in the group that thought Zach Moss was a horrible, horrible football player, and turns out he's actually a pretty decent running back when he has a good offensive line.
yeah.
Yeah, I think JT will see more carries this week, and I think we'll really see it the second half of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was very surprising. I could see maybe that situation playing out as far as the extension. Maybe early in the year, maybe they go like, "Hey, you know what? We don't know much about the Zach Moss guy.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and just pay JT and take the sure thing." But then they played Moss. He did so good. He had like what, like three straight 100-yard games or something. And
yeah. He had
then
one point. I think he was RB 3 or 4.
yeah, he was. I think he had one game where he ran for like 165 yards the previous week in week 5, and he had another 122-yard game in week 3. So it's like this guy's doing pretty good. We want to pay this guy. So then they paid Jonathan Taylor, and then of course he does well the game that he first
Yeah,
plays. So. Yeah, I don't really get it. I guess from a team building standpoint, but as a JT owner, I'm like, okay, sounds good to me. Keep giving him the ball.
yeah. And I think another guy to watch out for too is just Downs too. Downs and that
Yes.
Minshew connection is electric. You'll see them. I mean, Gardner can throw the ball at least deep, and Downs is just a PPR machine. So,
Yeah, he really is. I think he was like a big waiver wire pickup last week, but
oh yeah,
I kind of got a little concerned because towards the end of that, I think the Jags jumped out to like a 21 or the 28 nothing or something like that. And so in my head, I was thinking, oh, great. Here I pick up the guy who literally gets shut out, but he somehow manages a touchdown and 5 catches. So, yeah, I mean, that was the kind of the big calling card was he was the security blanket for Minshew. So, yeah, those were the two for the Colts, and then for Jaguars, I guess the big one's going to be is Trevor Lawrence healthy because or not healthy, but can he play? I guess on Thursday. Um,
Yeah, every report that I read in practice was he was out there with a knee brace, and it says the knee feels better than he thought he would. Um, we'll see.
Yeah, he's a tough sob, so I could definitely see him playing. But he also
Yeah.
has a sub 10 double digit point for QB syndrome, so he's good for an 8 point showing every now and then. So not even
Oh
sure
yeah.
he's worth the start if he's that hurt.
No, he's good for a dud here.
And then the other one was Travis Etienne, who did pretty good for Maish. He had 23. Had that good run at the some I think middle of the game. He had a good run that scored a touchdown. That
That's
was
what I
pretty
mean.
sweet.
That's what Travis Etienne is. He'll grind out 2 3 yards of carry, and you think you're starting a dud. You're shit. What did I start? And then he'll break off a 40 yard run for a touchdown, and then
And just
okay, that's why
salvage
I
the
start this.
day.
That's why I start this guy.
You're like, yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So through this point, we are 1-2, and then the next one was Eagles Jets. I didn't watch. I'll be honest. I didn't watch 1 second of this game, so I don't have much on it. I guess the Eagles aren't as good as we thought. Question mark.
No, Eagles are on my fraud alert. If I can give them a
Oh,
fraud alert,
Joe Fraud Alert. Okay.
them and another team. If I'm an Eagles fan, I am concerned about the offense at this stage. Jalen Hurts got paid this offseason, and he's paying all of Philadelphia back by throwing interceptions. He's trying to give all that money back. Um, 14 points on Sunday against the Jets. Again, the Jets have a really good defense, but I'm looking around the scores from all these other teams that have good defense, and they were outscored by some of the other teams. Even the Niners, they're put up 17 against the Browns. Um, they scored 5 more points than the Giants with a backup quarterback. The Eagles
Yeah,
did.
yeah. I mean,
That's
and if you look at the fantasy part of it, they look like they did okay, right? Like
yeah,
AJ Brown,
yeah.
20 points.
AJ
DeAndre
Brown's
Swift, 17 points. Hurts had 23 points or 22.9, whatever. It's like it looks good, but they are just so. It looks like
they're just out of
inefficiency.
whack. Yeah, if the defense wasn't as good as they are, I think you would see a team that's probably sub 500 at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's true. So, yeah, I'm never gonna be upset about calling the Eagles fraud. So, but we'll see. They have I still, even though I hate to say it, they have a good coach, and I think they'll
They
figure some
do, but
stuff
they're
out.
running into a beast of a schedule. They have the Dolphins this week.
Yes,
Then I think they have the
they.
Cowboys twice. They have the Niners. I think they have the Bills coming up too. So it's a tough schedule they have coming up.
Well, last year too. What did we say? Hey, you're playing a last place schedule. Okay, let's see you do it this
Yep.
coming year when you have to play a first place schedule. And I mean, I didn't think it would be the Jets who knock them off first, but yeah, that one was didn't work out too great. So we both picked the Eagles, probably smartly. I don't think either of us would ever really pick the Jets, but didn't get that one right. And then the last NFL matchup was Monday night, and I don't know if you watched any of this, but this game to me was pretty ugly in the
Right.
sense that if I, as a Dallas fan, I wanted to see a little bit more juice from the team, but I guess I can't be mad if you get the win. So
Yeah, I mean, they came back again, prime time, back to back weeks, and got a W this time. Held a pretty potent Chargers offense, only 17 points. Justin, Justin Herbert looked okay. Dak looked a lot better, I would say. You know,
yeah,
I think he's putting up for the Cowboys.
I think he. I know people are gonna probably laugh at this, but I still see so much hesitation from him on certain
Yeah,
plays, and that's what happened against San Francisco. Was there were certain plays where it's just like just get rid of the ball, just
yeah,
okay, take this. The play's not gonna work. Just get rid of the ball. But he's over there trying to make a play. I mean that one sack that Fred Warner had near their own end
yeah,
zone. I mean he literally just stood there and waited for him. It's like,
yeah,
dude, you see him coming, just bail out. But he's gotta, he. I think he will never tell you this, and he's a super like good guy, so people don't want to like rag on him too hard, unless you're a Cowboys hater. But it's like he just I think he takes some of that criticism that he hears personally, and it's just like you
hmm
just gotta tune him out because it's like
yeah,
if you keep listening to them, then you're gonna keep doing these like kind of more hesitant type things, and it's just not going to be a good outcome.
Yeah. On the Cowboys, I mean, the other receivers also need to kind of step up a little bit. You paid Brandon
Yes.
Cook. He's not doing anything. He's had how many consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards? Doesn't look like that's going to happen this year. Him and Gallup just seem kind of off. So really,
Um.
just CD is his only option. But
Yeah. I mean, how bad does that offseason look where they paid Gallup and traded Amari Cooper for a fifth round pick?
yeah,
Especially because if they had just waited a little bit, Devonte Adams got traded for what, like two first rounders or whatever he got traded for. They could have at
yeah,
least gotten a third or a second for
exactly.
Cooper.
Yeah.
But and I think Hill got traded that offseason too. So it's like two good receivers got traded for good value, and you were just impatient and had to pay Michael Gallup for whatever reason after he tore an ACL. So
In
yeah,
hindsight, though, cutting Zeke looks like it paid off. So
I mean, that was like 3 years overdue. So it was just from a financial standpoint, they had to wait to make it work, but they should have done that a long time ago. So I'm glad they finally did it, and I'm glad they also didn't take the bait and try to go re-sign him at the very last minute for a minimum deal. I don't think he would have signed the minimum anyway, but yeah, that was bad. So through the NFL slate, we were both 2-3. So that leaves us to the TCL slate. So TCL wise, we'll start with my matchup with Grant because that was probably one of the more like exciting ones towards the end. I don't know if you were keeping up with where the score was going into Monday night.
I was a little bit. I picked Grant's team because at the time Grant's team was just a wagon.
Dude,
He had
seriously.
CJ Stroud, who's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. CMC, who's he had a bad game, but he still scored 14 points.
Right.
Uh, Devontae Adam Thielen's just reborn again. Kyle Pitts finally is having a good game. Mike Evans, he's a stud. And then his Grant's boy Baker. Grant's boy Baker might have been part of his downfall, but
Yeah, if I know
so
I considered him and he did not, spoiler alert, he did not win bench of the week this week, even though I considered Tyler Boyd as possible bench of the week because if he had started Tyler Boyd instead of Baker Mayfield, he would have won. But, well, I think he may have even still lost by like point 0.2 or something. But the reason I did it is because no one in their right mind at the time would put Tyler Boyd over Baker Mayfield. Even though they were
no,
playing Detroit, um, no one's going to do that. So
no,
I wasn't gonna knock him for that. I mean, if McCaffrey and Debo hadn't have got hurt, he's probably winning and he's 6-0.
yeah,
So, and I know all the rest of the league wants to hear that because they think I have the luckiest schedule in the league or whatever. I'm rigging it, but that's just what good fantasy teams do. They just find a way to win. So sorry,
exactly.
no apologies. Yeah, we both picked Grant because I also didn't believe in my team just from a bye week and also from an injury standpoint. But hey, found a way. Even with Jake Moody deciding to miss 2 kicks.
In front of his family too. That's the worst thing. His
Oof.
entire family was there. Which yikes.
I'm sure
Hate,
he got
hate
like
to see
40 tickets or whatever he got for.
that. Yeah. And then miss two kicks in front of your family. It's a tough look.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It was Cleveland, which I would then say, you grew up there, you should know how it is, but it's
Yeah,
still
and went to
hard.
school in Michigan. It's cold.
Is he from Is he from Cleveland proper, or is he like from
I
Ohio or
went.
something?
I lived in Ohio, grew up in Ohio, near Cleveland. Went to school in Michigan, obviously.
Classic.
Um, just missed it. This kind of happened going, on Jake Moody. It's kind of happened in the preseason too with him. He would miss a couple kicks, and then I think maybe kind of like this, similar to Dak, he kind of got in his head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then he kind of pushes that because he missed that one early, and then game winner, 41 yards straight through, just slightly pushed it. But that's kind of the knock on him. If he misses one, he'll probably miss another one.
Yeah, I think he'll bounce back for sure. I mean, he's still solid, but tough break for him. So yeah, we both got that one wrong since I picked Grant to win as well. The next one was it was Zonkas versus Busty, as we like to call them now. Uh, and Zonkas went off, man. They finally got their comeback game,
Yeah,
and
yeah. They St. Brown 30 points. Hurts 22, like we talked about earlier. Kyron even 21.8. We'll see how he does now with Kyron being out.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
want to
mean,
say he did pick up Javante Williams, which was a big one.
yeah,
I know a lot of people were after Jordan Mason. I think that's going to be a nice pickup if CMC doesn't play because he's good. He when he runs hard and he pops.
he does. But as a Niners fan, it would not surprise me if Ty Davis Price is the one who gets all the carries after everyone's bidding on Elijah Mitchell and going to get Jordan Mason and
Wouldn't that be
Kyle.
the most Kyle Shanahan thing ever? He's just like, oh, you think it's this guy? Good
Yeah,
one.
Kyle Juszczyk's running the ball 30 times now.
Right. Oh my god. I could definitely see that. That's why I'm not even laughing because I'm like, yeah, he probably would, that bastard. Um, yeah, that one was. We both picked Zonkas. I didn't think we would see a blowout like we did. I think Tony's
No,
team underperformed for sure. Outside of Zach Moss, I mean, I wouldn't even necessarily say he underperformed. He just didn't have an historic game. He put up 148. He probably would have beaten almost half the league. So just one of those games. Hey, you just tip your cap and move on.
yeah, exactly. Burn the tape and move on.
Yeah, he didn't even have a necessarily have a startable lineup that would have won. So um, next one is Taylor versus Andy, and this one was. I thought this one was a big one because it was kind of two teams trending in opposite directions. Because
Yeah,
Taylor's team, he got his first win. He got Cooper Cup. Hey, he's coming. He's like getting hyped up, and then Andy's team has started hot and it's kind of crashing now.
yeah. Taylor's team is the one to watch out for. I think Taylor's team is going to make a run. Would not surprise me if we see him in the playoffs. Um,
Yeah,
with Lamar, Kamara, he's got Cup. For the first couple weeks, Cup was just sitting on his bench. He's got Laporta. Um,
that was a big
Taylor's
pickup.
team. Taylor's team is probably one of the better 2 and 4 teams out there in all of fantasy football.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even some like kind of like he obviously had a big game from Justin Tucker this week. I think all the Justin Tucker owners are loving their draft pick, except for Taylor, who picked him up off waivers because somebody else dropped Tucker. Still wondering about that one. But the big one that I call out because I think goes underrated is Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers
Yes.
with Jimmy G is like magic. Like I don't know what it is, but like since the first game, they
Yeah.
immediately had chemistry. They immediately were like, "Oh, I know what to do. You're good."
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's that old Patriot connection. Jacoby Myers from the Pats. Jimmy G was for the
Was
Pats
it?
too.
Were they on the same team, or I thought they
I
didn't
don't think they were, but
overlap?
they obviously had the same OC with McDaniels now head coach, so they kind of clicks there.
It's
Uh,
probably touchdown. What's the word? Like regression to the mean as far as
oh yeah,
because he go like I think he had like 100 and I can't remember the stat, but he went like forever without ever scoring a touchdown. So he was like the
yeah,
most like tenured player ever that didn't have a touchdown, and then he finally got touchdowns. So now he's like I think he's got what 4 or 5 this year. So yeah, that's a nice pickup, especially for your second flex spot.
definitely,
Yeah, he has 4
definitely.
this
And
year.
he left Saquon on the bench too. You throw Saquon in that first flex, and this team is
Yeah, that's a
probably
good
finished
point.
out
He's
pretty well.
running with, I mean, he's 3 deep on both, right? He's got, I mean, he takes away Hopkins and puts in Barkley, and that's a squad. And then Dallas D's just sitting there waiting for after the bye week.
Yeah,
Yeah, for Andy's team, uh, get it together,
yeah. And this
buddy,
team's
or
tough.
else he seems primed for a beer mile, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Texas Tech alum Patty Mahomes, I think, is probably underperforming for the first time in fantasy standards. He probably was the first quarterback taken in most leagues. I think right now he's probably quarterback 4 or 5. Um, Stevenson is just not good. He had a good week last week, but just year to date, he's just not good. Swift is a good pickup though. Swift,
Yeah,
Olave, and Lamb. That's a solid trio, and then George Kittle. You're either gonna hit a home run or you're gonna strike out.
He's
With
gonna. He is like Joey Gallo for football because he is
oh
like
yeah,
he'll score 3 touchdowns and just absolutely kill it, or he will get you 1 point and
one catch for
disappear.
1 yard, and
Maybe it's karma for being so rent free for Dallas.
maybe maybe,
Wow.
but
Uh, yeah. Shout out to Drake London too, who is I
yeah,
guess when the Falcons actually throw the ball, he's pretty good. I don't know if you noticed that, but like every time he catches the ball, he like looks like angry. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he like
He
snatches it from people.
watching him is you just wish he was on a better team with a better quarterback.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
not even like I'm not even saying like put him on like the Dolphins, just put him with like Lamar on the Ravens or Baker on the Bucks, and I think
Anybody
he
who
would
just
just
has like a competent pass attack.
yeah.
Yes, agreed. Hopefully he finds his way out of there. But yeah, it always cracks me up seeing the Falcons games because whenever any of their receivers catch a ball, they act like they've like this is like the greatest thing, and they're like finally because they like never catch. They like this never happens. This, so last one is or was Fappy Baby versus H Town Rubdowns, two of the more appropriately named teams in our league. And it was kind of a perfect storm because they both have the kind of same subject matter.
Yep.
So this was actually my lock last week, and I said Nick was going to win. But he had David Montgomery go out. Um, Puka had a
Puka,
slow game. Return of Eckler. Yeah, not great. And then Aaron's team came out swinging. Finally got
yeah.
Travis Kelsey.
Travis Kelsey finally had a good game. Mr. Consistent, Sam Howell.
Yes, we already gave him his shout out too, but
Yeah.
he dropped Daniel Jones to pick up Sam Howell. So I questioned it at first, but hey, if it works, it works. So I know Aaron's team is off to a slow start as the defending champ. As I'm not allowed to mention, but I may know the feeling.
Yeah.
But hey,
Um,
2-4, still got a shot.
there's a lot of football left. Anything can happen.
A lot of football left. So to summarize, we both picked Taylor to win that one, so we both evened out, and then I picked Nick, like I mentioned, and you picked Aaron. So you finished the week at 6-4. I finished the week at 5-5. So that means that now going into week 7, near the halfway point of the fantasy football season. We are 34-26, even Stevens between the league and myself. So maybe a beer mile lap for your boy.
Yeah. I would love to see it.
Will you attend the beer mile this year?
Next question. I'll be there with
If
the
you're not on
bucket.
a if you're not on a work trip to some random assorted northeast city.
Yeah, some random make believe town in Massachusetts. I'll be there.
All right, sounds good. So I know we talked about a lot of these. I think big call outs from the week 6 in general were injuries and upsets. So anything that caught your eye from week 6 from the NFL slate, I think I have a couple, but open it for you first.
No, I mean it was a weird NFL. I think you're starting. This is kind of the period where you're going to start seeing injuries start racking up. Um, Looking at our waiver wire, it's thin. There's not too much talent out there, so you're gonna have to kind of scour the waiver wire for the mat and really look for the matchups too as well. Um, Start playing matchups at this point instead of just relying on talent because the people who should be producing necessarily aren't. Um, and like you said, you could have boom bust weeks from almost anyone right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I know there was some questions as to whether we had the right amount of roster spots. I think I'm glad that we stuck where we did because it definitely ended up more like now, right, with the amount of injuries, bye weeks stacking up, all that, it's actually kind of playing out relatively well. So, yeah, I think overall it's definitely a player's situation in that the people who are paying attention, who are kind of keeping up with who's who, where the injuries are, Snap share. We talk about snap share every week now.
Yep.
That's paying off, right? So I saw some good pickups from the league this week, so I'm curious to see how those play out. But yeah, the waivers were pretty active this week. So a lot of people made multiple claims. Pretty big transaction week as well.
Very. Yeah.
So I do want to play one thing. So let's go take a quick peek at the standings right now, and we still have the six playoff spots. So as it stands right now, Grant and myself are the two first round buys, and then in the one of the quarterfinals is Maish versus Tony, and then the other one is Nick versus you. So, with that being said, I want to play a little game with you. It's called Buy or Sell. We already played this before. So, I'll give you a name, and then you tell me if you're buying or selling them to make the playoffs. So, let's
Okay.
start with this one. Maybe this one is a little bit tricky because they're already in the playoffs, but we'll see because of their injuries and where the team is. First one's Grant. So, are you buying
Yeah.
or selling Grant to make the playoffs, make a run? Let's add that caveat since he's already in it.
Make a run. Yeah, I'm buying Grant. I think Grant's team is pretty solid top to bottom. He'll be able to overcome some of the injuries and even like overcome his bad quarterback play that he's going to have. Uh, I think he'll make a solid run.
That's a key, right? Because he went straight rookie mode, and it paid off the best because they're both the rookies. Were killing it.
Yeah,
And, shout out to Anthony Richardson too. That sucks. I think that
yeah.
finally came out today that he is going to have surgery, so he's done. What do the inside sources think about that? They're just bummed out. They're just like, hey, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean it sucks. I mean the kid was balling. I think
Dude, he really was.
you see it. You need snaps in this league to play well. He didn't really get snaps in college. He was playing really well in the pros. Areas of opportunity to improve, and then you get hurt, your season shut down. Um, and the rookie quarterback coming in, first round pick, shoulder surgery year one. That's a little bit worrisome. But I think they're feeling pretty confident with who they have right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think Minshew can fill in okay, and I
Yeah,
mean they're
I
not
mean,
necessarily like trying to get a top five pick necessarily. So if they can just show
no,
improvement, that's probably
they're
what they're
they're
looking
in a
for.
weird purgatory where they know that. I mean, they can make a run, sneak into the playoffs. They're not going to do anything if they do, but they're too good of a team to try to tank for a top five pick. So I think you'll
And
see
theoretically, you got your quarterback right, so that's the reason why
you
you
do.
would
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
Okay, yep. I'm also gonna buy Grant, just because his team is more than just the quarterbacks, but CMC, Devonte Adams. If the I will say this, the 49ers definitely need to be careful because
yeah.
they are running CMC into the GD ground,
Yes.
and this was just a little warning for them. It was like, hey, take it easy, give some, and I get it because he's so good that it's like if you put Elijah Mitchell in, you immediately like he gains 1 yard, and you're like, put CMC back in. What are you doing?
When Elijah
But
Mitchell
it's
gets his
just
chances, yeah, when Elijah Mitchell gets his chances, he can run. I think it was games when he started and CMC wasn't there. He had the same 75-yard games as CMC did, so he has an opportunity to do it. But he's also one who also gets really injured too. So the 49ers entire roster basically is built up of class.
yeah.
Uh,
No,
so
that's always been their kind of their bugaboos. They play such a physical style of football that it just takes a toll after a while. So,
yeah,
um, okay, next one, buy or sell, and I'm gonna actually okay. No, this is perfect. Taylor, and I know you already alluded to it earlier,
yeah.
but Taylor, are you buying or selling to make
Oh
the
yeah,
playoffs?
I'm buying Taylor. Taylor had a rough start to the season. Took forever to get a win. He's on the up and up. He's got more points than you do. So
Oh,
I'm buying Taylor. I think Taylor's team is gonna sneak into the playoffs, and I think he's one to watch out for a run as well.
yeah, I think so too. I think once we looked at it earlier too. I mean, he has a couple of. I mean, he had. I didn't even realize he didn't start Barkley last week, and he still had a good game. So, I know he's playing Andrew, but yeah, that was a interesting one. Um, I think his team can definitely make a run. So let's go to a couple teams that aren't in the playoffs. Um, One, defending champ Aaron, are you buying or selling to make the playoffs?
I'm gonna sell on Aaron. I think is just draft day. He had a great draft day. Things were looking up, but it's a weird year in football where certain locks are not performing as well as they should be. So, sorry, Aaron. I don't think it's gonna be a repeat. I think it's gonna be a one and done for you.
Yeah, I we have never had a repeat champion in the TCL, as you know. So I don't know if that will happen this year. If Nick had won it last year, I might say that he could do it this year, but I think Nick. That was the worst thing that could have happened was Nick losing that final because now he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Last one for buy or sell. And this one, I think I already know the answer, but this one is Andrew. Are you buying or selling to make the playoffs? He's 2-4 also.
Andrew, I'm just gonna sell. I just don't see it there right now. you know, I
Yeah,
think, uh, I think, yeah, I think the top half of the league, the top four people, even the top five, I think the league's pretty good at picking up waivers, paying attention, and just points. I think they're all juggernauts, and I think it's gonna be tough to overcome that.
yeah, for sure. All right, last one, and this is just since I didn't give him a chance on this episode. What about Jory? Are you buying or selling Jory to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I just played Jory. Gave him a beat down for his birthday. Uh,
I'm sure he's enjoying
he's
that
not.
as he listens to this.
Yeah, sorry, Jory. Happy birthday. Justin Fields being out, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Then looking at his bench, he's got Danger Russ Wilson, who's just horrible. He's playing better, but horrible. I'm gonna have to sell on Jory, unfortunately.
Didn't start
I think
Addison either,
no, he did not.
which we'll see. I guess you make decisions like that. Needs
He
Aaron
does
Jones back
have
too.
he does have Tyreek who can single handedly win you a game. But it's that's really the only person who I would feel confident about was him and Pollard would be the only two I would feel really good about.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually heard from another person that they after they played Tyreek Hill in a certain matchup, they said I deserve a I survived Tyreek Hill this week, man.
Yeah,
Like button. And I reminded him that I got 49 hung on me his game that one game against the Broncos. So, uh, all right, I'm with you on both of those. So let's play a fun one here. Let's switch gears here. So this is a little segment I like to call "Get to Know Joe." Now I know you know half the league probably, and I know you've met a couple of the other members of the league, but some of the members of the league never met Joe Wise. I don't know who is Joe Wise. So Joe Buckwise. So I got a couple of rapid fire questions. You can make them as long. Your answers as long or as short as you like, and then maybe we'll see where it goes. So, all
all
right.
right.
First question. Hometown.
Menlo Park, California. I'm one of the Californians who moved here.
What
Don't hate me.
what middle school did you go to?
I went to La Entrada Middle School.
All right, don't know where that is. Okay. Um,
Would be surprised if you did, but
You're like, oh yeah, over off Anderson Drive. Yeah, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Favorite soft cheese.
Uh, Soft. I like brie. I like brie cheese. I'd say that's probably my favorite soft cheese.
Okay, solid. I like brie. I'm also a big blue cheese guy now.
Ooh, nice.
Big blue cheese guy. Uh,
Extra mold.
yeah, extra mold. Oh yeah, extra stinky. Here's another one. Would you rather be feared or loved?
Loved. Feared. I understand why people some may say feared, but I'm just a lover. I just love everybody. So I'd just rather be loved
Okay, fair
or
enough.
both.
Fair enough.
Or both. I'd rather be feared and loved. Shout out the office.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. I put that in there and to give you an opportunity I try to I just lobbed up a nice layup attempt for you or an alley oop attempt. You just
Fumble. Yeah.
yeah, that's all right. Favorite Big 12 football player of all time?
Oh, that's easy. Ricky Williams.
Ricky Williams. Any reason why? Any memorable Ricky Williams story?
No, not really. 1999 just was when I was growing up and finally starting to watch football. It's actually how I became a UT fan. Um,
You can do
when
it.
I
It's
was
okay. Go ahead.
Hook 'em Horns. When I was 6 years old, finally just started to learn the rules of football and actually pay attention to football. And the best player at that time was Ricky Williams. So, as any kid, you jump on the bandwagon.
Of course.
And I never got off the wagon, but the band left. But I never got off the wagon.
Nice, nice. Yeah, he's also. If I were to answer this one, I know it's get to know Joe, but my favorite Big 12 football player, you'd probably be surprised by this one, is the Boz.
Oh yeah,
Just,
stud,
just
roided up
electricity.
on steroids, just ready to piss.
All right. What's the best hard seltzer flavor? What's your go to? Let's say that.
Um,
I know you're a seltzer guy.
yeah, Crush Claws. That's a good question. Really, the answer is whatever's in my fridge. Anything but lime. Whatever, anything but lime. Probably mango. I'd say mango white claws. Probably my favorite of the claws. Truly lemonades are delicious. Big fan of the Truly lemonades.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the lemonade tea Trulies. I don't
Oh
really
yeah.
like Trulies in general, but that's the ones I will drink. Is those
Yeah.
like raspberry tea ones? Those are pretty good.
Oh yeah. Those are delicious. Yeah.
Okay. And hopefully there's a story associated with this one. Worst bar you've ever been to on the East Coast can be any East Coast city.
No, I mean it's hands down. It's a college bar I used to go to every Thursday night, every Monday night for Towson Slut Night. In Baltimore, Craig's favorite pub.
Sorry. What was the name of that? What was it called?
Monday night, Towson Slut Night, every Monday night. TSN.
Towels.
Towson, the college Towson.
Oh,
My college, Loyola, Maryland. Shout out the Greyhounds. Went to school in between Johns Hopkins and this other school named Towson. There's probably about a 4 mile radius between the three schools. There's a bar on York Road called Craig's Favorite Pub. Every Monday night was Towson Slut Night or Cat Night if it was the first Monday of the month. So you'd go dress up as a cat. If you were under 21, you had to pay $10 to get in, and they put an X on one of your hands that was you can easily wash off. Um,
yes. Shout out.
my
They don't do that now, by the way, Maryland
no,
police, if you're watching.
no. Well, the bar got shut down for having too many underage kids in there.
Yikes.
The city of Baltimore versus Craig's. Um, but my sophomore year, we had a mumps outbreak at our campus, and they determined that the mumps started from Craig's. And if you look up and could pull up a Craig's favorite pub, and I can send you a link, you'd be scared to even step foot in there.
You might need to send me that so I could put it in
Yeah,
the
I
link
will.
will be
It
in the
is.
description of the video. So if you're
It's bad. Yeah, it's surprises to surprises. Looking up right now, there's an article from the Baltimore Sun that says a loving obituary for Craig's, the shittiest bar I've ever been to.
there you go. See, I didn't even plan that. I just figured there's got to be a bad bar story from your time on the East Coast. So thank you for that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, last one. What is the best office line in your opinion, in your estimation?
It has to be. That's what she said. I mean, no
Is
question.
that really an office line though? Like,
Said so many times. Dwight Ewingert slut is one of them.
yes.
An underrated one is I'm not a masturbator. My cousin Mose is a masturbator, or I'm an okay baiter. My cousin Mose is a masturbator. Great.
I don't even remember that one. That's pretty good.
Or you can go super sentimental and go Andy and say like, "I wish you knew you're in the good times before you left them." But
Yeah, that makes me really sentimental. So I don't like that one as much. I like the
no,
one. My favorite Andy one is "Sorry I hurt you with my friendship," or "Sorry
yeah,
what is it? Sorry I offended you with my friendship."
I'm sorry I hurt you, my friend. Yeah,
Hopefully the recording caught that because your audio cut out. That's okay. Um, no, that was good to know, Joe. Any parting words for the people that you want to get to know, that you want them to get to know you?
No, I'm excited to meet everyone who I haven't met at Mario's Beer Mile. It's been fun playing in the league for a few years. But no, that's really it.
Okay, sweet.
I
Let's.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. Let's jump into the awards, shall we?
let's do it.
So, the bench of the week. I told you it wasn't Grant. Um, And this is probably the first time I had a hard time finding a bench of the week because the scores on most of these matchups were so separated that it was really hard to find one where if you started so and so, it would have you would have won. So the
Yeah,
bench of the week this week, I'm giving to myself for benching Rashid Shaheed, who had 18 points. If Grant didn't have two of his best players missing over half the game, I definitely would have lost. So
yeah,
those points would have came in handy. So I'm going to give it to myself. So I get my first bench of the week of the season. So thank you. I
nice.
won't be taking any questions, but giving it to myself for that one. For the start of the week, another 18-point scorer. And this one was actually, I enjoyed a lot because I didn't realize how good he did until way after in the day. But that's Justin Tucker, 18 points. And the reason I gave it to Taylor, because obviously he's going to start Justin Tucker, is that he picked him up off waivers. And
Yeah,
again, Aaron, shame. Don't care about Evan McPherson or whoever else you picked up. You draft Justin Tucker in the 8th round or whatever the hell you drafted him. You keep him all year.
yeah. If this was real life, Justin Tucker's probably worth the first round pick.
Yes, exactly. So shout out Justin Tucker, shout out Aaron, shout out Taylor.
Yeah,
Uh, and finally, the manager of the week. Got to give it to our boy Maish. I've been teasing him all year about how this is his prove it year in fantasy, and he's got to show up. So he puts up 199 points, gets a W, gets back to 500. So, Maishin, if you're listening, congratulations, you're the manager of the week. Any Joe awards you want to hand out?
um, I would Joe awards. Let me think. I mean, the bad
Anybody?
luck award. The bad luck give to Grant, obviously, with the two players going out.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
maybe even Nick too as well with David Montgomery getting hurt. I don't think he would have won even if David Montgomery was healthy, but uh, just just tough luck. I'd say mostly.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one. Uh, all right, so let's move on to the last part of the show, which is our week 7 preview. So I'm looking here live, doing this live on the fly, as far as the matchup to watch and the lock of the week. So I know I already teased you at that before. So you want to do yours first? What's your matchup to watch this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna look myself in the mirror and say the matchup to watch is gonna be between me and Taylor.
Yeah.
I think we have a very, very close match. I've been hyping up Taylor this entire show, and I had to play him this week, and I think his team is on the up and up. My team is. We'll see how they do, but I think that's going to be probably the matchup to watch.
Yeah, I'm laughing you said that because I actually had written down Joe versus Taylor as well. The other one maybe you could honorable mention would be Grant versus Tony. Grant coming
Yeah,
off a loss. We'll see how that one goes. Tony obviously at 3-3 needs a win to stay in the playoff hunt. But man, it's gonna be an exciting finish to the TCL slate as far as like late season goes. Because I mean, we're talking outside of the two top teams, it's a 4-2 and then 2-3-3. I mean, there's one game separating 8 teams here, so
yeah,
or whatever that is, 6 teams. So it should be very very close going into the final couple weeks of the season at the halfway point, let's say. And then what's your lock of the week?
um, my lock of the week. I'm not really going anywhere out of left field, but I'm going to take the Zonkas over you.
Okay.
I think the Zonkas kind of just come in and destroy you. Honestly,
I'm sure you would love that. I'm sure you would love that. Yeah, I think
yeah. I mean,
the
yeah. I
matchup
mean,
matchup wise, it's not looking great, right? Because the big one's going to be that Miami Philadelphia game. We'll see how that
yeah,
one goes. But with Trevor Lawrence hurt, I got Dak on bye. Jameer Gibbs, we'll see if he plays. It's not looking great for me in terms of the lineup to play. So we'll see. I also lost out on my Browns, hashtag my Browns, in picking
yeah.
them up. I had to drop them last week, just had no other choice. And then, of course, I did not get them back this week, so tough break there. My lock of the week is a very simple one. I'm going to bet on a guy who I've bet on all year, and he's mainly disappointed me, but he won't this week, and that's Nick over Andrew. It's a 50-50 on their matchup, but
Yeah.
I think Nick's going to win. So that's my lock. Cash it in, plus 200, put 2 units down on it. Uh, there's my lock. So there's your week 7 preview. We're at the halfway point, fellas. So if you're watching, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I don't have a new subscriber in over a month, so please help me. My wife's gonna kick me out of the house if I don't get a subscriber soon. And also, still have a lot of football left, but hey, your bed's made, so you gotta it's put up or shut up time now.
It is. It's the witching hour of fantasy football right now.
I am glad you mentioned that. So I of course am a big TikTok guy, and so Taylor sent me a TikTok of Scott Hansen getting interviewed, and they were asking him about his how the intricacies of red zone work. And dude, shout out to Scott Hansen. That dude just literally is just standing in there for 8 hours, just like he's
Yeah.
not moving. He's locked in, and they're just constantly going. So just shout out to my hero Scott Hansen. I wish I was him.
Same.
Any parting thoughts, final thoughts for you, Joey?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a very, very tight year. I think there's not much separating the good teams from the bad. I think some teams are better than what their record stands for, and some teams are worse than what the record shows. It's going to come down to the wire, and it's going to come playoff time. It's going to be close. I think you almost have to start looking at the playoff matches. You have to start looking at weeks 15, 16, and 17. If you're one of those top teams, you might sneak in and see if you can grab a player who has got a favorable matchup. You mentioned the Browns. You dropped them. That's a tough one because the Browns have a really favorable playoff matchup for the playoffs. So.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. That's just smart. That's smart fantasy managing. So that's good advice. So if you made it to this point of the episode, you just got a little tidbit from one of the former champions. So I would listen if I were you. I'm taking notes myself. So my final thought: let's keep having fun, guys. It's been a fun year so far, and yeah, let's go Rangers. All right. Well, cool. Thanks for joining, Joey. That was it. And
Thanks, Mom.
well, you don't have to leave just yet, but we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.